So I want to talk to you about LightSail and the future of literacy. What if there existed a literacy solution designed to engage and motivate and move kids? What if it delivered 3 years worth of growth consistently in just 1 year? What if it made teachers' lives infinitely easier? And what if it was cost-effective and scalable? Well, the future's here now, and we call it LightSail. What we've developed is a personalized literacy platform that figures out every kid's individual reading level, from kindergarten through 12th grade and then beyond. We have an adaptive assessment that's grade leveled, asks kids a series of questions, determines their quantitative reading level. And from that quantitative reading level, we're able to create a customized library for each kid based upon where they are as a reader. We have more than 11,000 books from all the best publishers on our platform, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. In addition, we progress monitor. We assess kids as they read directly in the book. So we're asking kids vocabulary questions. We're asking them multiple choice questions. And to some of the points that people were making earlier today, we're also having them write. And we're assessing their writing that they're doing in the application. So we're looking at multiple measures. And from those, we're able to adapt and update the reading experience and that library for each kid so that they can constantly be shown books that are just right for them. We help move them up that staircase of complexity in ways that foster and facilitate their literacy growth. The science of literacy is making sure that kids are reading a certain amount of time. And because we're doing this all digitally, and then we're controlling the books that kids are being fed, those books that are just right or in their zone of proximal development, we're able to ensure that the books kids are reading are the ones that are going to move them the fastest. And that's what's so exciting about LightSail. So the big question is, how's it working? It's actually working quite well. We've done 2 independent studies at this point. We're only about 3 years in the market. We've been in business for about 4.5, 5 years at this point. But our first efficacy study was with Johns Hopkins University, where we looked at 17 schools, middle schools in New York City, where kids are performing at least 2 years below grade level. And this was about 300 kids, and we had them read on LightSail over the course of a summer without any teacher intervention. The kids were reading at home. And what we found is that kids who were reading 20 minutes a day on LightSail were consistently growing at 2.7 years in a single year. That's pretty significant. We then followed that up with a study that we did with New York City and Johns Hopkins University, and Robin Hood Foundation, and we looked at about 1,000 kids. And we found that not only did kids grow at, surprisingly, the 2.7 years in a single year rate, and that was, again, it was over the course of a year, not a 7-week summer period. But we also found that on their other nationally normed assessments, like the degrees of reading power, the kids were making significant growth, the kids who were reading on LightSail versus the kids who weren't. We're actually doing 2 more efficacy studies, one with Columbia University's Teachers College and the other one with Johns Hopkins again. And we're looking across multiple school districts around the country, thousands and thousands of kids. This is about delivering results. If we're going to provide a platform to schools, if we're going to ask teachers to turn over some of their class time to have kids read on it, we want to make sure it works. So it's great that it works. It's great that we figured it out. It's great that it's cost effective. But how do we make sure that it's really engaging for kids? And there are a couple different ways that we do this. Number one is we like to ensure that the books and content that we have on LightSail are the best books that kids could read, from kindergarten through 12th grade. And so we went out and we cut relationships with some of the top publishers, all of the top publishers, hundreds of smaller publishers. The Washington Post, a company called News for Kids that has leveled news for kindergarten through 5th grade. And so when you think about the LightSail library, you have to think about the books that you read as kids, the books that you want your kids to read, or the kids in your classrooms to read. Think Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing and all the John Green books, the Percy Jackson series, but then a huge amount of high-low books, which are high interest but low reading level, that are specifically targeted to kids who are reading significantly below grade level. You need that type of engaging reading experiences in order to get kids excited about books. In fact, one of the things that we found is across our schools, particularly our middle schools and high schools, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which seems like sort of a silly book and it's a movie and whatever, is one of the gateway books for kids to get into reading. They think it has lots of pictures, it's funny, they start to read it, they get excited about reading, and then LightSail is able to provide a huge amount of additional material for them so that we see that you like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, why don't you try this Percy Jackson book, or Captain Underpants if you're a more struggling reader, or this book, or that book. And that really enables us to build an engaging platform by providing a robust library of choice for kids. Now, we've gone beyond what we're doing with publishers. There's some cost to the publisher materials. It's not always the best for all kids. One of the things we found that was particularly for younger kids, there was a dearth of really good options for high-quality digital books. And so we said, we've got to create our own. So in the last year alone, LightSail's become one of the most prolific authors of children's books. We created a whole separate imprint called Antares, and we developed 1,200 books that are specifically focused on kids and specifically focused on kids who are in inner cities, where we have created all of the artwork and the stories, most of which are nonfiction, but we've created this artwork that really appeals to the kids whom we're serving. You don't see a lot of white kids in the Antares books. It's very diverse, very multicultural, really, again, driving that engagement, making sure that kids can identify with the protagonist and the story in the book while building foundational literacy skills, building comprehension, and building world knowledge. Another great thing about Antares, as we look to expand internationally, LightSail owns all the rights to those books. We can export them, we can translate them into other languages. We're doing a lot of work now in China. We're doing a lot of work in Mexico and Latin America. We're in discussions throughout the Middle East and in the Asia-Pacific area. And having books that aren't subject to all of the publisher requirements and licensing terms just makes LightSail that much more flexible. And at this point, by the way, not only do we have the 1,200 books, but we've got another 5,000 articles that also come free with LightSail. So those Antares books, those articles, they all come free with LightSail. LightSail was founded in 2012. We have about 50 full-time employees, 5 of them here in Israel, in fact. Had dinner with them last night. We sell to schools and sell to school districts and then the companies outside the US. Those 11,000 books from all those different publishers. We ended last year with about 200,000 paid subscribers. LightSail is not a freemium product. Everybody on the platform is paid. We'll more than double this year. We are expected to grow to close to 700,000 paid subscribers by the end of 2018. We've raised $24 million to date from some of the best names in technology, including Scott Cook, who founded Intuit, and Jeff Bezos of Amazon, and then a handful of other investors as well. We are projecting doing between $5 and $6 million in revenue this year. Break even next year. Our management team. Our management team, 5 of us have worked together at Success Academy Charter Schools, one of the best performing charter networks like KIPP in New York City. We now have 41 schools. 5 of us were there for a number of years. I worked as vice chairman. My business partner of 15 years was the CFO of Success. And we have a number of people from the pedagogical teams there. In addition, 3 of us, my business partner, myself, and my CTO, who presented here last year, ran a company together and successfully sold it to Message Labs and then to Symantec. We've won dozens of awards at this point. The one that we're most proud of is our award from Common Sense Media. We won a 5-star review 3 years in a row, which is pretty unheard of. Only about 5% of the companies each year win a 5-star review. We've gotten it 3 years in a row. We're really happy with that. We're in 150 school districts around the US, thousands and thousands of schools. We're in about a dozen districts around the country. We're really focused on our international distribution as we go to continue to blanket the United States. I'd be remiss if I came to Israel and didn't talk about what we do for English language learners. We did a study in some schools with high percentage of English language learners, kids who are not native speaking English speakers, and we found that the kids who are reading 45 minutes a day, so a little bit more than what we found in the Johns Hopkins study, but these kids need a little extra assistance, grew at a rate of 6 to 7 years in a single year. And this is stuff that we're starting to see replicating across our other customer bases. And we're really excited about the fact that if you have special needs, if you're an English language learner, if you're 2 to 4 years or 6 years below grade level, LightSail works really, really well for you because we're able to target those books automatically and provide this incredibly robust library of books that are just right for you in ways that will help you grow really quickly. So I'll just finish up with this. LightSail works across platforms. We're developing HTML5 this summer, so we're moving beyond Android and Chrome and Chromebook. We're going to be able to work on any internet-connected device that's launching this month. We're looking to expand upmarket and downmarket, so younger kids, as well as community colleges and colleges, expanding the product in lots of ways to add support for vocabulary and additional support for writing, and then our ongoing international expansion and looking at adding additional languages. That's LightSail. Thank you very much. It's about $5,000 a kid. No, it's $12 a student a year is what it starts with, and that comes with 6,000 titles. We then have the premium titles that we work with schools to build based upon their budgets. What we're finding, though, is more and more of our schools are launching with the basic package at $12 a student a year, sorry. Yeah, it's a few $1,000s. I mean, we like to do professional development. We like to go in and make sure that that the school's going to work. We offer 90 minutes for free. We do that online. So for a couple $1,000s for a school, that's where we basically start, and we can go from there. We do big school systems in big districts, and the price comes down significantly.